Well, good Thursday afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Schaefer here on this Thursday afternoon First Alert weather update from the First Alert digital desk, where we'll be taking a look at a few things. Your weather right now, your weather over the weekend. I'll be also keeping you updated with that wildfire smoke as we head into the weekend and for the rest of the day, because I know that's sort of a hot topic for everyone right now. We'll also keep an eye on that drought monitor, see how that updated this morning. And if you have any questions, make sure you send those in over to our Facebook chat. I'll try to answer them as we go through the stream, answer them to my best ability, because sometimes some of these questions are hard and sometimes they're out of our area. We've had a few people ask for out-of-state questions, and sometimes that's not our priority. But if you have anything today, I'll try to answer those as we go through the stream, and then maybe at the end of the stream. So to start this off, I did want to take a look at our Mount Pleasant camera, where it is sunny, but you also have that cloud cover that's been sort of hanging around, or not cloud cover, smoke has been hanging around, maybe ruining the day for many people. We've had air qualities in that unhealthy for sensitive groups were even higher, so you're not totally looking at blue skies, even though it may seem like that smoke definitely causing a discolorization of the sun and the sky, not seeing much of that blue. Didn't want to focus on or show off a photo that was sent in by a viewer. This is from Thomas here in Saginaw. That's a beautiful sunrise over the last couple of days. That's the one thing, even though we have that smoke, it does give us good colors in the sky, and this is one of those photos that have been sent in, so thank you to Thomas for sending that in here over the last couple of days. And if you have any photos, make sure you send those in. The First Alert weather team always trying to showcase those whenever we do get photos. And I know we had the Northern Lights chance that sort of busted just a little bit, but it would be a good event to see any photos from that. Now, again, air quality alerts. There is an air quality advisory through today into tomorrow. Actually, some counties, especially on the southern half of the region, are seeing that air quality advisory up until noon tomorrow. So this smoke isn't going anywhere, at least for today. It is going to lighten up. I think that's a good thing for most. You are going to see a lightening of that smoke, but we do have this air quality alert at least for the next almost 24 hours in some counties. And again, air quality forecast, we do expect our air quality index to be 100 plus, maybe 150 plus in some locations. That'd be unhealthy for some, and then unhealthy if you are sitting 150 plus in an air quality index. And again, if you are someone that is sensitive to poor air qualities, make sure you're keeping an eye on your own health and trying to minimize that outdoor time if you do have that a possibility, because I know not everyone can stay out of that smoke. That's something we'll take a look at here. Let's look at our current air qualities actually across the state. What we do see is we are actually improving a little bit in areas to the north, out towards Holton Lake, looking at almost 70. So you're in that moderate rating. Saginaw in the upper 90s. So you actually were in the unhealthy for sensitive groups here the last hour or so. So that's a good thing. That's a good sign to see that improvement in our air qualities. But obviously, if you look down to the south, seeing lots of oranges and reds with our sensors there. And there's also other websites that show more localized sensors that have also been agreeing with that unhealthy for sensitive groups or unhealthy for some and that unhealthy rating. So again, hopefully, if you're someone that can avoid going outside, if you are maybe sensitive to our poor air qualities, make sure you do stay indoors. So taking it back to our radar, what we do see is clouds are clearing. We had that rain last night, many areas getting up to an inch of rain, especially in the Tri-Cities down towards Detroit. We're definitely seeing some reports of about an inch. Even the earlier stuff got quite a bit of rain for areas to the northern half of the lower peninsula. So obviously that rain's moved out, cloud cover is starting to move out. We're looking at clear skies, at least for the most part, obviously clear skies, but you do, again, are dealing with that smoke that is ruining any of that blue you could see right now. And we'll zoom out real quick just to see what else we're dealing with around the Great Lakes region. Obviously some rain down there, Indiana, Ohio, that should miss us to the south. We do have cloud cover trying to build on the western side of Lake Michigan. That'll be something obviously that could roll in tonight. There does look to be some cloud cover into tomorrow morning, but it's going to be pretty broken apart by the time it gets here, so you will see some sun. Again, you're just going to be dealing with the smoke. You're going to hear a lot about wildfire smoke today, and I know a lot of people are sick of it, and I get it. It's not great. It ruins a lot of our days, but it's just something we have to deal with it, and I'll have a little bit more details on that here in just a second. But temperatures right now across the board are mostly in the 70s, getting closer to the 80s. Gladwin 78, Holton Lake and West Branch both at 76. You got Clare at 77. It is a little bit cooler to the south where you've hung on to cloud cover just a little bit longer today. Saginaw 72, Flint at 71, Owasso at 70. So definitely some of the cooler areas that we had cloud cover hang on just a little bit longer in the morning. But even with that smoke, temperatures should maybe continue to rise here in the next few hours. We see on our temperature trend, our highs are right now through about 5 to 6 p.m. Once we get through the night, cloud cover rolls in, we start to lose a lot of that heat from the surface. We'll be back into the 50s and 60s to start the night into about midnight. Now, again, highs today, still have some warming up to do in areas to the south. If you're up to the north, what you're seeing right now is definitely what your highs are going to be for the day. And again, that's upper 70s. Again, 78 in Gladwin right now. That's what your high is for today. So definitely reaching that point right now for this Thursday afternoon. And what lows tonight, again, are going to drop a little bit farther than what we had on that temperature trend, just because we have a few more hours of darkness and a few more hours to lose a lot of that heat. But still, maybe a warmer night. You got 50s across the board, a few 40s in isolated locations. This is going to be right below average for this time of year, so we're still in that streak, at least for our lows tonight. Our highs for the next couple of days will be right at average or just maybe a little bit below or above in some locations. Hello to everyone again that has joined this stream. If you have any questions, make sure you put those in the Facebook chat. I'll try to answer them as I get to read them through the rest of the stream. Now, real quickly, going to take a little bit of a break. After we come back from that break, I am going to take a look at our wildfire smoke and what our air qualities could be later on, what that smoke's going to look like as we roll into the afternoon, maybe why that smoke is rolling in to the region at this point. And again, I'll have more details in just about a minute. Welcome back, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Shaver here, and if you're just joining us, welcome. We've talked about what our temperatures and what our conditions are outside right now, especially with that smoke, but I am going to take a look at our future when it comes to that smoke here over the next couple of days, especially in our weekend, because I know some people really want to get outdoors and they don't want to have to be dealing with that smoke, and I know we have some events around the state. NASCAR is at Michigan International Speedway this weekend, so that's another big event. Hopefully that smoke can move away. But as we take a look again at your air quality forecast, well, maybe we'll not real quick. There we go. Again, if you're just joining us, welcome. Air quality index for today is expected to be 100 plus. That's going to be in that unhealthy for sensitive groups, or even in the unhealthy. We actually have some areas down to the south where you are looking to be 150, 160. So obviously, if you're someone that is sensitive to poor air qualities, make sure you're trying to stay indoors as much as you can. If you have to be outdoors, just take those precautions of maybe trying to take some breaks, because obviously if you have any impacts on your breathing, you don't want that with this air quality. But what is this air smoke doing right now? Where is it really sitting? Well, as we take a look at our near surface smoke, again, this is our near surface smoke. There's a lot of it aloft as well. We can see over the next hour to 2 hours, it continues to sit in areas through the Tri-Cities, into the Thumb, for 3 to 4 p.m. As we get through the rest of our afternoon into our evening, though, we can see those brighter colors, that brighter yellow, some of those reds are starting to move away, and we're starting to see more of that blue pattern start to show up through tonight. There's still going to be wildfire smoke at the surface through about midday tomorrow, and that is why they have issued that air quality advisory up until noon tomorrow. But it's a lot lighter. We do get some good recovery from this wildfire smoke into about midday tomorrow, but there's still going to be some that lingers around. We look at our vertical, this is more the wider picture of our wildfire smoke. And again, we can see 8 p.m. Friday, a lot of it's very light. It's still there, and a lot of this will be aloft, but it's a lot lighter than what we have today. We're probably not done with wildfire smoke. You look up there to the north, towards the UP, and we can see that bright red starting to arrive back again. And that's really along another front that's going to roll itself in through this weekend and most likely bring us some wildfire smoke as we enter the new week next week. But there's still some question marks. It could end up moving a little bit slower, and then that would lighten it up as it enters the state. There's still a lot of question marks into next week because it is a very hard model struggle sometimes with that smoke. But right now, it does look like into Saturday afternoon, especially if you're heading up north, you may have to deal with some more wildfire smoke. And I want to zoom out real quick and just show you some of those areas that we'll have to keep an eye on to see if this wildfire smoke will re-enter Michigan. And that's going to be up there in northern Minnesota into North Dakota and South Dakota. These will be the areas that once we get into Sunday, that smoke will try to continue to move itself back into Michigan if that cold front does sweep through, which right now it does look like that cold front will sweep through Michigan. So that'll be something that brings it in. Now, there's been a lot of questions about smoke, and we've been trying to answer them here at your TV5 First Alert Weather Team. And I think the thing with that is it's hard sometimes to predict it because it is so sometimes small. Radars don't pick up a lot of that smoke. Satellite can struggle to pick up that smoke except at the fires. And there's been this big question. Well, winds at the surface have been from the northeast. Like today, we're seeing that. A northeast wind, 5 to 15 miles per hour. But that isn't the case for the smoke. A lot of this smoke is out in Canada. I look at this, and this is what we're looking at when it comes to how does this smoke move? How does it get to our area? Well, we look at this map, what we see is those wildfires up there in Canada. Manitoba has a lot of fires right now. That's an area that we're seeing a lot of this smoke. And again, you're not seeing a universal wind direction that would be blowing in that wildfire smoke from those wildfires in Canada. But we have a couple factors. One of those, again, is a cold front. It likes to pull in a lot of that wildfire smoke. So what happens, we'll have a low pressure system form up there in sort of northern Canada that forms a cold front that stretches all across Canada into the United States through Montana and Idaho, North and South Dakota. And as that low pressure system starts to move to the east, well, it starts to bring that cold front with it. And what does it do? Well, it really starts to pull that wildfire smoke from those fires in Canada into the United States, and that will be into North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota first. So if you want one way to look about maybe you can predict that wildfire smoke, look out there. Look at Minnesota and North Dakota, Wisconsin, and see what their air qualities are like. A lot of times that smoke will travel along that cold front as it moves to the east, and as it gets past Michigan, that smoke sometimes will just stall out. Because this is right where a lot of our fronts will stall out, is sort of over the Great Lakes just to the east of us. So we do see a lot of that smoke just stays around as it enters the Great Lakes regions and doesn't move until we have another force that pushes out that smoke as we get later into maybe the week or the day. Now, another reason we see smoke rolling in is our jet stream. This is also a main factor why we see that smoke. That jet stream can set up right over the wildfire smoke. Once that wildfire smoke gets into the atmosphere, well, it follows the jet stream, and maybe the jet stream is heading right towards Michigan, and that wildfire smoke, well, it's going to come right at us as that jet stream sets up right over us. And again, we have like we did today, where you get that wildfire smoke, maybe it drops to the surface behind a cold front that's along that jet stream as well, and then you have more smoke at the surface. So again, those are some of the reasons. I get it. It can be a little bit confusing because you look outside and you see a northeast wind like we have today, and you're thinking, why is this wildfire smoke rolling in from the northwest? Well, we have factors aloft in the atmosphere that are bringing a lot of that smoke into the region and obviously creating those smoky conditions that we have today and really what we could have on and off through the rest of the summer as long as those fires are burning. And another thing I'd like to mention too is a lot of those fires, they're not just one small area. They're large areas across a large portion of Canada, and they're really remote, so there's not really a way to get to them other than maybe airplane dropping water on them. So a lot of these fires, they sort of just have to let go because they don't have a way to get to them. And a lot of these fires are started by lightning, not by humans, but natural causes. Obviously, we mentioned this before. They're in drought up there in Canada. They've had some warm days. Manitoba had days in the hundreds. So that's an area that obviously they're seeing a lot of wildfires. And yeah, you definitely could smell smell it today. Areas like Freeland, we could smell it here in Saginaw, Mount Morris, those areas that you can smell it. So that's just something that we have to deal with as long as those fires are going. And again, if they're not in an area that could be threatening homes or threatening civilians, a lot of times they just let them be because it really can't get to them. Really what would help is some rain. Areas to the north getting rain in Canada would really help fight a lot of those wildfires. So I'm going to take a quick break once again. Once I come back, we're going to have a quick look at your drought monitor, and then I'll also be looking at what your weekend may look like and just have more details on your future. Well, welcome back, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Shaver here. Once again, thank you for joining me here on our midday First Alert weather update from the digital desk, the First Alert digital desk. And right now, we just looked at smoke. We're going to go take a look at our drought monitor. So what we do see is on our drought monitor, there wasn't much improvement. There actually really stayed the same. Next week, we'll keep an eye on it for next week because we did get some rain that rolled in, and that could be some areas, especially to the north, that could help you. I don't think it's going to totally get rid of that abnormal dryness, but maybe help some areas a little bit. But again, not much change when it comes to that drought monitor. So this will remind me as well, if you have a burn ban, check your burn bans. We're heading into the weekend. I know some people want to get out there. Just be careful. Obviously, with drier areas, fires can spread easily, and we don't want any more fires in our area, Lake Canada. Now, we did have one up towards Big Rapids last weekend. Luckily, it got contained pretty quickly, but that's just one thing to know when you have drought and you have dry conditions. Check your local burn bans because some of them may not allow any kind of widespread or any fire that could spread pretty widespread. So just be careful with that. Now, take a look at your hour by hour. Does show us not much. Clear skies, at least without that wildfire smoke. That wildfire smoke will be here through the rest of the afternoon, but we're dry. Some light cloud cover does roll in today, but we're continuing to stay dry throughout much of our Friday. That hangs over into our Saturday as well. Again, you just have a mix of sun and clouds on and off as we get through Friday into Saturday. Don't see much in terms of rain. There may be a quick sprinkle tomorrow into maybe Saturday. We'll see if there's just a little bit of energy there. Now, we look at the long term. This could change. There's been some disagreement with the models for Sunday. It does look like, though, as we get to Sunday and Monday, there is enough of a signal that we could see some more rain roll in with another cold front, and that would most likely give us a more chance of wildfire smoke as well, and that's because of that front. Now, by Monday morning, that light rain chance does look like it wants to roll up, but again, there's been a lot of disagreement with the model, so we'll see how things play out. We'll have updates, especially tomorrow at 2 p.m. Make sure you tune in there because we'll be taking another look on your live from your First Alert digital desk and 7-day forecast. The one nice thing, we don't see really a drop in temperatures that big. You get lower 70s on Monday and Tuesday, but we stay in the 70s. I think that's a good thing long term. You do, again, had that rain chance for Sunday into Monday, and I know hopefully that avoids or slows down Michigan for anyone that is going to the NASCAR race on Sunday. I know that's a big event for a lot of people, but hopefully it does miss late Sunday into Monday, see that rain, and then it does look like we'll be dry for mid next week. Maybe some 80s start to pop up. I know there's been that trend of wanting to be warmer than average, so if we're going to get there, hopefully next week we do get there by the end of the week of seeing some of those lower 80s. But again, thank you for everyone that tuned in. If you have any questions real quick, we'll see if we can answer those. But Otherwise, if we don't, hopefully everyone has a good rest of your day. Hopefully you can avoid the wildfire smoke if you are sensitive to that, because it is something we'll have to deal with here over the next couple of days. But thank you to everyone for joining us here on this Thursday afternoon. Again, we'll be live at 2 p.m. tomorrow. We're live every day, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., live from your First Alert digital desk, where we'll have updates on your weather and any other current weather events going on around the state of Michigan. So again, thank you everyone for joining us here today. Check out our Facebook pages, check out our website, WNEM.com. We'll have more updates on news and your weather.